Well, hello and welcome to today's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. And I'm kind of excited where this call is going for several reasons. And many of y'all know that Zoe and I have been just dear friends for so many years. And we took a journey together through Peru at the end of last year. And there was so much expansion and opening and integrations that were taking place. And then since then, we've kind of gone in our own trajectories. And there was this space that was created, and each been doing our own healing work, bringing in our own awarenesses, bringing in like these next chapters of what's unfolding for ourselves, but also how we get to translate to you all here. And I haven't really had a chance to speak to Zoe about this and where she's been, where her consciousness is expanding into, and how she's connecting into this other level of octaves that's available. So this is going to be a fascinating call. And again, I will be just as curious, or maybe perhaps a little more, because I'm a little invested as to what's new in the field, what she's been picking up, what's available, and how she's translating that for you and for me through her embodied experiences. And so we're going to dive in deep, and we're going to get into understanding the messages of the universe through Zoe Davenport, who, if you're new to her, she's a divine oracle writer and a speaker. She's a modern mystic here to provide powerful support for visionaries on the Ascension path. She's a gifted energy expert, someone who I have reached out to several times consistently over the years for support and for expansion as well. And she taps into unseen realms to bring through information that supports the integration process of our mind, body, spirit, and multidimensional being. And Zoe, it's been a while, and it's here that we get to integrate and bring this together. So I'm happy to see you, and thank you for being on the show today.
What a pleasure. Thank you for always such an incredible introduction and opening of the space for these conversations.
So understanding the messages of the universe, what is popping up in your consciousness that is compelling you to talk about this today?
So something really beautiful came through with my client today, and I'm going to start with that because I think it will help to open up the context of what I want to dive into. I see so many of us desperately seeking a connection to spirit and desperately seeking answers to the unknown and what's happening next and how to let go of the past and where we are now. And we sometimes look to others of their experiences of connection, or we look to the past of how perhaps we used to connect to spirit. And we use that as a guide mark of how we should be connected now. And so sometimes what happens is we miss the new way of embodied connection. And so it might not be as kind of visual as someone may have experienced in the past, but it may be more of a feeling connection, or it may not be as more auditory as it was in the past, but it may be more of a sensing. And so what came through for my client to get her to understand this is, I want you to imagine that you find the most delicious flower in all of the meadow, and you smell this flower. And if you could imagine what spirit smells like, do you think it would smell like that flower? Mm-hmm. And if you were to imagine your favorite fruit in the whole world, so she picked a pineapple, and I'm like, okay, so if we imagine the most delicious golden organic pineapple, and you take a bite into that pineapple, and that pineapple has been supercharged by the sun. So it's received all of that photonic light, all of these different rays of light. So it hasn't had sunglasses or the sunscreen to kind of filter it through. Would you imagine that that's what spirit tastes like? If you were to sit and you were driving in your car and you were thinking about, I don't know, a beautiful memory that you had, and somehow you were guided to turn the radio on, and the most perfect song came on to match that feeling of what you were thinking about in that moment. If you imagine what spirit would sound like in that moment, would it sound like that? And so I was sharing it with her in this way because spirit was having me open up a different way of us realizing that we're always connected and that everything around us is a multisensory experience. And if we can remember that actually how we're receiving reality, multisensory, is how we're also having that communication to spirit. So it starts to kind of weave and bridge those channels together. And then we can start to get that sixth sense as we start to see, sense, feel, smell, and intuit what we are receiving in that moment. And we will actually start to recognize that there is so much for us in the present moment when we slow down long enough to receive what that experience is in that moment. And it could be you're thinking of something and you're on a boat, and suddenly the boat moves and there's a whole spray of ocean that just washes over you. And you are thinking like, how do I let this thing go? And you literally get blasted by the ocean. So it starts to become really fun when we understand that the communication to spirit is how we also interact with the physical world around us. They are one and the same. And so that's the biggest piece that I've been learning and diving in deeper to this year. And I went for a walk the other day with a friend of mine who's very heady, very yang, very business centered, and he'll go on to make his millions, and good for him. And I was brought into his life to teach him yin and to teach him presence. And so his version of a walk is 30 minutes. And that day, for some reason, I was really guided to do it in triple slow motion and look at the little blade of grass and catch the sunlight as it was hitting through the trees and sit with the earth. And then I'm finding crystals popping out of the ground. And it had him slow down, and it had me really attune to the messages of the earth and the messages that were giving me answers to questions that I had, but perhaps before, because I might have done that walk faster, I was missing it. And so there's those two pieces. There's reintegration of how we interact with the physical world around us through feeling, sensing, feeling, smelling, touching. And then also the slowing down process so that we can be present to what that is. So we're not missing it. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to talk about this today, because as you know, John, this past year for me has seen such a dissolving of the story and narrative when it comes to spiritual ascension. It's seen a dissolving of the need to talk about many things that were needed to talk about before, and coming into the simplification of what this journey is through a deeper level of embodiment, which is actually being here. It's the integration of being in the human body, and then also the joy and love that we get to witness in this physical body and how we interact in the world around us. And so this is like a next level that I wanted to add to the continuation of what's been coming through.
I think that's beautiful. And I love your awareness of it and the groundedness. And again, going through all the different terrain you've been in, the different travels, the energies that you're aware of, the, if you will, the whisper from Gaia, from the elemental, from the presence, just everywhere that you go. It's really allowed for an integration of something where we did get to expand in that consciousness and have all these other relationships. And the time is now, as part of that integration, for that expansion, not to necessarily, we're not expanding further in that capacity, but the expansion happens, like you're saying, in this human form, in this embodiment, and it's with a state of presence in which that is occurring. I have to ask you, and I kind of want to digress just a little bit into the conversation and then open it back up. So the contraction and the opening. But you said so many people wanting to connect with spirit and the ways to do that. And so the how is amazing. Your capacity to teach that how is second to none, which is so beautiful and such a gift for all of us to receive. I'd love your awareness as to why. Why is it that people are so desperately trying to connect with spirit? Because there's so many of us, how do we do it? How do we do it? How do we do it? And we forget the why. And if you ground that in for us, that would be so beautiful.
Well, I can share my why, And I feel that everyone's why will perhaps have a slightly different intention. My why to connect was to feel more at peace in my humanness. Because when I wasn't in the awareness of my awakening, I felt like I was living a double life. And I felt like there was this external personality of Zoe that was leading a life in this direction. And I felt that there was an internal version of Zoe, which was having a completely different life, but not yet manifested into this form. And so when I had my awakening, I started to get a very strong awareness that the more I can connect to that internal version of myself, the external reality and my place within this reality would start to make a lot more sense. And so that was my why. And it's emotional sharing that because it's been many years.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Thank you. See, I love that.
Oh, excuse me.
No excuse necessary. Thank you.
Because I'm just feeling the love of like what I had for this being, and she's out, like she's manifested. And so when I started to ask that, the question of how, this being inside me started to show me the steps, and it allowed for the fruition of this version that you see now. Like if I feel into who I was 12 years ago, it's unrecognizable. The lives are so completely different. Yet I know that I had to experience that version in order to get to this. So that was my why. That was my why. My why now is the continuation of mastery so that I can interact with the physical reality through the different expressions of myself, and it feels more joyful to have a deeper connection. When I'm not in awareness, because no one's disconnected, we're always connected to spirit. We're always connected to that version of us inside. We just have the belief that we're disconnected. So as we unravel elements of self and we reconnect, for me, I'm able to be able to come to awarenesses of self much quicker. I'm able to process at a faster rate where I'm really in something and so deep in it, but I get to kind of move through it with a deeper awareness, as opposed to kind of being in something but not having the clarity. So that's my why now. And also my why is I know how I operate when I'm not present. And when I'm not present, the way I operate is not in flow. And it's like I butt heads with the interaction of the world around me. And so my why is to remember my connection so that every experience that I have in this physical reality is one of peace, is one of love, is one of connection. It's how I'm able to see the greatest joy and love in the most troubled being on earth. It's how I'm able to connect with people, and they don't understand how I'm able to tune in at such a level of knowing of them. But because I'm so present to what they are showing me, that I can move in, because it's something that I've moved through myself. So I feel people have many whys, and I feel it is good to connect to what is your why. Why are you on this path? Why are you moving through Ascension? Why are you waking up? Why do you want to do it? I think people do forget. They just kind of follow the trends, especially online, and read all the stories and think, oh yeah, I've got to be seeing, all the colors and lights and sounds. Sure, like if that's in your highest path. Sometimes I feel it's a distraction. Quite honestly, like I'm driving sometimes and there's like spurts of gold and fairies blowing out, and I'm seeing a tunnel of a road. I'm like, okay, I'm aware I'm in a multidimensional experience right now and I'm driving a car, but I choose to drive a car right now. I'm glad that the fairies want to connect, but and it's fun to witness self in all different versions of self simultaneously, but be incredibly grounded with it.
So there you
like
go.
here.
And to enjoy this human body in the process, because that's a privilege of this being alive here in this elf realm, be in this body. And so how wonderful. And I love your why. And I love that it made you well up. And for me, that why inevitably for all of us winds up being an expression of self-love and love for others simultaneously. And we have our different reasons for that why, but ultimately at the core of it, it's that divinity expressing through us in form as we express our why as part of our artistry in this world and our beingness. So that's so beautiful. I want to ask you a question before we do that. Yeah, we're going to get into a special offer a little bit later, but Zoe's offering one-on-one sessions, which she hardly ever does. And if you want to click on the special offer button now, April will type it in the chat box. If you know you want a session and you want to book your session, you may want to wait till we go through the special offer so you don't miss any of this. But if you know that you want it, just know that we're going to get to it. You can still click on the special offer link and book your session while we're listening. And we'll get more into the description what else is being offered there, because it's not only a 30-minute session, there's much more value and presence that Zoe's bringing to there. So again, we'll get into that a little bit, but I wanted to bring that in now. So Zoe, as you're talking about the triple slow motion, the slowing down and taking your client and really being at one with the different elements that were in that landscape, and I'll call it being in intimacy with those things that you noticed and that noticed you. There's an aspect in that presence, because it's so present, that can't relate to anything from the past, because that's not what's running through the mind. And it can't really be in the future, because all it knows is the energy in which it's exchanging at that present moment. How have you learned through this experience, and it's of course always evolving, to let go, to slow down enough to where the past isn't what's running in your creation, and of letting go the projections of expectations of what has to come next?
So I'll start with the future. And I'd say the future is very much laced with expectations, attachments, and control, which is an ego program. And so the more present we can become to what ego program is playing out, the more we can let go and surrender to the present moment. So we're not trying to micromanage spirit to our ego agenda of manifesting, for example, because, and I love manifesting, don't get me wrong. I love to manifest large sums of money and experiences and joyful things in my life. And it's fun and playful. But what's beyond that is something that's far beyond what we could have imagined, because our most expanded potential residing in our higher self has an awareness of all possibilities, all potentials, all timelines everywhere. And so we could have an idea of a direction of desire of where we want to go, which is more, thank you, based on the feeling. So if we can connect more to the feeling, less about the physical stuff or the outcomes of reality, we can then slow down enough to step into what is truly, truly, truly resonant beyond what we could have imagined. And it's so much more bliss and more joy when we do it that way, as opposed to, I mean, how many of you have tried to manifest a certain amount of money by a certain time and it's not come in, and you felt guilt or shame, or you felt that you're manifesting wrong, or it's not working for you? And then, you know, all of this like energy starts to come up, and then you start to validate the story with all the times in the past when you didn't have this experience come in. Right? So that's more how I kind of work with the future. And particularly recently, which is really funny, why I spent time with my friend, because he's very much like the 5-year plan mapped out. Everything is like the schedule is chock-a-block. There's like tiny little windows, and I have spaciousness. And if something does get booked in, I really sit with it for a few days, and I really tune in and think, okay, this can be something that's booked in at a later date. This is just where I'm at right now. This might change in a few months. There might be some more things, but as I personally go through this process of integration with the dissolving of this expectation, I'm being shown that there's so much more that's opening up for me in the present moment that I could not have manifested, I couldn't have planned, I couldn't have controlled, and I couldn't have expected, and I couldn't have imagined. And it's just coming to me. The opportunities, the people, the money, the places, the ideas, the connections, everything that is in alignment with my deepest desire, which is joy, which is to connect, which is to be in community, which is to co-create. It's opening up. I don't have to do anything. And when that comes into alignment, the doing is effortless because it's pure creator consciousness. And then with the past, making peace with the past, with thanking the past. Thank you. What's the gifts? What's the lessons? What's the resonance that I moved through in order to get to this point? And sometimes we've had to go through some very, very, very challenging times. This past year, since last June, has probably been the most challenging year of my entire awakening journey of the past 12 years. It really has. Yet simultaneously to that, of all of these challenges that have come up for me, there has also been a tremendous amount of transformation, a lot of love, a lot of beauty, a lot of integration, and feel like I'm shifting lifetimes than perhaps if I had not had those experiences. And so I try to always have a perspective beyond keeping myself stuck, that I imagine I'm going to keep being in that energy or things are going to keep happening. So we set ourselves free from the past by letting go of expectations of the future. We set ourselves free of the future by letting go of expectations of the past, of what didn't happen. And where do we bounce back again to here?
And I love that you brought up about the shifting of consciousness, the shifting of experiences also. And in the healing community, in the transformational personal development type of community, we've strived for that shift. It has been a future projection that we've been in. And in this phase of presence, in this phase of slowing down and understanding, again, the messages of the universe, it is no longer about chasing the shifts. It's about knowing that in the presence, the shifts occur. It's knowing that in the presence, we're allowing God or energy or source to do us instead of us trying to do God or energy or source. And it's a big shift in consciousness and a huge shift in our nervous system and the reptilian brain of how we functioned before and what we're integrating in the embodied state of light that is becoming possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you're sharing that, what came through as well is I feel sometimes this buzzy kind of feeling of ascension of what we're being shown is happening actually creates us in a state of fight or flight, which actually is not supportive of the nervous system, right? And the level of light that we can hold within our systems is how grounded we are in our nervous system, how connected we are, how deeply attuned we are to breath, and knowing whether we are kind of oscillating in a different energy or whether we're more kind of upright and more grounded. And I do, like, that's why I'm very mindful as to how I share content online now, that it comes from this grounded place, that it doesn't come from a sense of time constraint or certain astrological dates or how to feel on a certain date because of something's opening. I'm very mindful not to share that, because for me, I like to go, beyond the ordinary show is we're having conversations beyond the beyond of what most people are talking about.
Yeah.
And so as I go beyond the beyond in my own experiences, I try to share from that place of integration of, like, we don't have to be in this nervous state of consciousness of feeling that there is no time, or feeling that, we're having to do this in a quick succession. Guess what? We've got our whole lives. Ah,
Right.
you feel the spaciousness of that?
Exactly.
It's okay. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you didn't do something on a particular date. Guess what? There's now. Guess what? There's now. There's another now. That's it. That's all there is.
Amazing. Oh my God. Zoe just had a birthday, by the way. So
no, we're not.
Let's all
No.
celebrate her. Now I want to see how old they were, 35.
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
We'll go into how old they are, but someone wrote into the chat, Eileen, and I'll read to, I feel your growth, Zoe. It's so nice. I've known you for a while and I'm so happy for you. And it really feels this portal that you step through in so many different ways. And you can feel not only the maturity through experiences, through embodied experiences, the expansion, but more profoundly for me, the peace in your being. You've always carried it in various degrees, but how it's landing and anchoring in the now, it's beautiful to witness. So happy birthday.
Thank you.
And we're celebrating you for the transformation and how you should up for yourself. And we also celebrate your capacity to share that with the world. So I wanted to bring that into today's conversation as we celebrate Zoe being here with us on this earth realm. And of course, on the call Beyond the Ordinary, right? And I was going to ask you something else, but I forgot what it was. And I want to get into some Q&A. So I wanted to ask you again. So there's a perfection taking place. And it said, talk about how perfect the divine is, that what's happening is in perfect alignment, that it's leading us back, that what is it? How do you understand what divine perfection is, Zoe, through your experience? And then we'll get into Q&A. So if you guys want to ask your questions, raise your hands, bring into special offer, private session, all that. Again, we're going to review all that, but divine perfection, I think this is so important. Again, based on where you've been and what's being birthed in you and what you're embodying right now, that it would help so many people on this call.
I would say for me, like what comes up when you ask me that was really, truly in surrender. Truly, not just saying I surrender, but not really feeling it. Actually being in surrender and being in trust and faith and allowing that to be a resonant frequency in the body. Because when you are in alignment, you only ever need to ask for something once. That's it. Just once. You don't need to keep doing all the stuff. When you are in true resonance to who you are, that's it. And you get to be in surrender. And the divine perfection is letting go of the need to be perfect. It's to understand the beautiful imperfections of the human experience. And I see this so often over the years with so many people, that there's like almost a guilt that's carried around not being spiritual enough. And what is it to be spiritual? We're already doing it. We're being human. Great. So we now get to let go of what it means to be spiritual. Anything beyond that, sure, do your practice, meditate, drink good water, eat good food. Your body's going to feel great for it. Of course, it's going to thank you. But if you're striving for spiritual perfection based on an expectation, it's always going to set yourself up to feel less than your true connection to who you are. So that to me is divine perfection, is letting go of all of it.
What are those disruptors that come in that take us away from that divine perfection? Relationships, finances, health. They put us into that period of we're a future projection and afraid of the past, where we lose ourselves in the middle. And how is it that you've been able to come back to your middle over and over again?
Well, catching us in the micro moments when we're trying to macro manage our reality. When we're trying to control so much of what's happening, when quite clearly there is something else that's being presented to us, but we are like, no, I got to keep going in this direction. And it's quite obvious that spirit's like, but the door is open over here. No, but I said I'm going to go do this thing, or I said I'm going to be in this experience. And so it's up to us. We have divine will, right? I mean, someone's laughing now, right? How many times have we done this? There is quite clearly the path of least resistance, but the mind is like, no, I've got to make it difficult for myself because, I want to work really hard at this. I want to be spiritual. I want to be connected. Meanwhile, there's the door over here that we get to walk through. And I'm not saying that the spiritual path is easy. It really isn't. The true path is the warrior of shadow, of light, of all the ugly in between bits, of all the parts of self that we really don't like, but we have to love anyway. Right? But we get to lean in to those experiences when we surrender and take a breath and slow down what is truly being presented to us.
Well, I want to ask you, what would you tell those, because this definitely happens, where we're in certain trajectories and we have an agenda, or there's a crack in the door opening, and we go through it, but it's only for a certain amount of time, and the door closes, and doors are closing, and there's still this void space where the other door hasn't opened yet. I think a lot of y'all can relate to this in some aspect, or we believe the door hasn't opened. Maybe it's maybe it's both.
So getting really comfortable in space, getting really comfortable in spaciousness.
In the void.
It's really uncomfortable. It's really uncomfortable to be in space because we're so used to having everything around us that we know. So suddenly when we're in that space, it's like, say you have your room and you have all your things, your favorite things in the whole world. And suddenly you go into your room one day and everything's empty. You're in an empty room. What are you going to be freaking out? Where's all my stuff gone? Where's my bed? Where's my photos? Where's my drum? Where's my candles? It feels uncomfortable to sit there, and suddenly you sit in the spaciousness and like, well, is there new stuff coming? What, I mean, is there something on order? Like, I mean, what am I going to sleep on? How am I going to survive? So getting comfortable in the spaciousness allows for the next step, but we have to empty out first, right? I just want to know what my path is, then I'll let go. It doesn't work like that. I just want to know the next steps, and then I'll feel comfortable to surrender. It doesn't work like that. And that's the mastery. That's the game, right? I've done this so often. I was a massage therapist. I don't know how many years ago this was now. And I was receiving so much when I would touch somebody, and I didn't know what it meant. I mean, I was having the Palladians come in asking me to do DNA activations. Someone's mum that had died 2 days ago asking me to pass messages on. Had a queue from here to Australia of beings wanting me to pass messages. All this energy, like hands heating up, and people are like, "You're not doing a massage on me. Like, what were you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I just like a spa massage." And I got this message: you need to quit your job and sell everything you own, and what to do next. I'm like, what? I'm not leaving my job. I'm not selling my things. Like, this is my life. I'm not comfortable with that. And I tuned in meditation. Okay, I get what's going on. I have to do this because this is what I'm going to teach. I have to go through this. And so I did. And guess what? I didn't really truly know what the next step was for 2 years, because there was actually a tremendous amount of integration that had to happen in that space. But once that got integrated, that next step became very clear, and what a timeline shift. And wow, what an incredible life and journey it's been after that. And that was probably, I've taken many scary steps into the unknown, but that was one of them. And I'm sharing that for context that we have to trust that we know where we're going. Our minds might not know, but we know, and it's okay.
That's beautiful. Beautiful answer on that. And it's also the ultimate practice into presence. I mean, it's really teaching us mastery in that still space of being present and not getting and really unraveling the mental fears, the programming, the nervous system responses, and breathing in. And again, allowing God, allowing Source to do us rather than us doing God, doing Source. I want to keep referring back to that for some reason today on this call. This is wonderful, Zoe. Zoe, let's open up to some Q&A if you're ready for it.
Sure.
Let's do it. So again, if y'all want to ask your personal questions, raise your hands. I'll promote you to panelist here, and you can type your question into the chat box as well. First caller I want to go to is Nina. Let's go to you, please. If you can unmute your microphone.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Zoe. I was getting very triggered when you were just saying all those things, because I was just breathing and I was just like, oh, I'm so angry. And I know it's a trigger at what you were saying, because I'm in a situation right now, and I'm just like, I don't want any more challenges. And the situation I'm in on right now, and both of you, please give me whatever guidance you are getting, is that I'm helping a bunch of old people in sheltered accommodation to keep them safe, because they're all very elderly and vulnerable. One of them is my mother, and they've got somebody amongst them who's also very old and vulnerable and has dementia, and she's beating and attacking people around her. And the authorities, because maybe of the pandemic, they're not doing anything. It's almost like these people are being abused, and no one has the time to listen to old people who are vulnerable. And there's so much injustice going on. And it's not just about my mother, it's about a lot of people. So the guidance from Spirit that I keep getting is keep fighting, keep moving forward. You're getting blessings, but it feels so hard to go up against local authorities, against governments, against corporations who are just don't want to do the right thing because they're lazy, they're so used to the way things are done. So I just wanted some guidance on what I should do, because I keep going and I keep getting ideas, but it's so exhausting. And it's come to a point, it was like, I'm just so tired to be this warrior that I'm supposed to be. And I'm so tired of fighting injustice. And I've done it in the past, and it's just not getting easier. And it's taking a toll on my body because I'm a sensitive. I'm getting a lot of sort of attacks because obviously I'm questioning the system and how it all works. And I just feel, sometimes I feel unsupported, but when I check in, I feel very supported. They think they're saying they're behind me, but it just feels so hard. And
Let's see what Zoe brings in for you. Yeah.
Please bear with me because I'm going to challenge you, but it's going to come to a point of resolution. Okay. So just trust me through the process. So you don't have to do this. How do you feel just to let go and not do it anymore?
I could let go and not do it anymore. Yes.
Okay. And how does that feel in your body to let go, not do it anymore?
My physical body is relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like inside me, my soul isn't, because I just feel it's wrong what's going to happen to people. There is an ego there as well. And I keep putting my ego in check. It's like, am I doing this for ego, or is this the right thing to do? And I keep checking in. It's not about my ego. Is it about my ego?
Okay.
But yes, I mean, to give up would be easy for me. Okay. Just go back to my selfish life.
Okay. So we gave you the option to stop, and your body relaxed, but your soul was like, oh no, that doesn't feel good. Okay. So we're just going to put that over there for a minute, and I'm going to get back to your body. We're going to just move forward for a second. Okay. One moment, because it's coming in. So could we reconnect to you that this is a conscious choice that you're having in your reality to support these people? You are consciously choosing to have this experience with these beings to support them to the highest level that you are able to support. How does that feel in your body?
It feels good, because honestly, that is what I'm doing. But I just want to not be so hard.
Good. But so the slight disconnect that's happening, I'm not going to talk about the authorities. I'm going to put them over there for a minute. I'm just going to, normally I work with people a lot longer than this. So we're just doing like a little micro. So the slight disconnect that you have right now is you're not taking care of your body whilst you're doing this. So the first priority for you when you're supporting, when you're showing up, when you're being this role for these other people, and you're doing it so beautifully, right? And this is how we create change in the world, is we get in to these places, and it's not easy. If it was easy, change would happen. But guess what? It's not, and no one wants to do it. And so, but you have love in your heart where your soul wants this conscious choice to be in this role. But the disconnect is you're not taking care of your body. So your first and foremost priority, if you choose to do this, which we've established that you are making a conscious choice, no one's forcing you to do anything. It's your soul that is leading you forward. Okay. The hard piece is because you're not taking care of your body. You start taking care of your body first and foremost every single day: self-care, meditation, good water, nourishing yourself, knowing when you're getting too energetically entwined, take a step back, breathe, take a meditation, have a day off, and then come back from a place of grounding, a place of expansion, a place of connection. Okay, this is going to help resolve a lot of all of this kind of intertwiney, disconnect, kind of troublesome, hard energy that you're experiencing, because your body is not in alignment to your soul's desire, right? So giving yourself that conscious choice to let go, your body relax. So it's about a nervous system of helping your body become into resonance with your soul. Okay, that's your first step. And then beyond that, you will start to feel a calmness where you will know, oh, I'm getting a guidance to reach out to this person, and maybe there's some extra funding, or I'm guided to do XYZ, and maybe there's more support for this. There's so much opportunity here. I think what you're doing is amazing. I don't feel that you're meant to exit. It would be easy to exit, but your soul doesn't want to.
I was going to ask you that. I just exit.
No, you know that. You know the answer to that. I don't need to tell you that. But it is about your body and your nervous system. So if you can get those into alignment, this is going to be, you will actually start to see the blessings and the gift and the tremendous amount of love that you have in this experience. And then these stories and the people and shoulda, coulda, you know, that will start to kind of feel a lot calmer. Okay.
Thank you. But the thing is, and I'm sure a lot of people are experiencing this, it's nice to say, yes, look after my body. And I know that, but it's so difficult because we had the 8-8 portal. And honestly, I was wiped out and I had to send these emails because I have to respond and I couldn't do anything. And the 8-8 portal and the energy is still going. Today, I'm feeling a lot better. But it's like, it's so hard for us sensitives. We have to feel all these energies and then we have to keep going in the normal world. And then on top of that, we have to fight.
I'm gonna let Zoe answer this and I'm gonna go on to the next caller. Yes, and thank you.
Yes. And you as well, John, like give me whatever insights you give to
You got it.
John will probably say the same as me, is you are in control, right? You're in control. You have the power. And when you're feeling intensity, lie down, give yourself a rest. It's okay. It doesn't have to be a big story around why you need to take a time out, right? I think sometimes we perhaps need to know what's happening energetically or astrologically or with the collective, or what are we moving through? Sometimes your body or nervous system just needs to rest, to recalibrate, because you are starting to integrate higher levels of light. So when we're in that rest period, could it be part of our awareness that we're doing so much by resting? And that's okay. And I'm a firm advocate for days off, many days off. I work 2 days a week. And when I show up for those 2 days, I'm on. And the rest of the time I'm resting. Right now, that's just what my body needs, right? And so honor your rest. It doesn't have to be because it was this or that or something else. There'll be days where you just need to rest, and maybe you haven't given yourself the rest because there's nothing happening energetically, so you can't justify it. Oh, damn. Now we're getting into some deeper stuff there. Imagine having a day off for no other reason than you just needing that day off. Whew. Yes. So body, rest, nervous system, ground, be present. I'm pleased that I triggered you. Good. This is good. I'm glad. I'm here to trigger people. I'm here to annoy people where they actually make a change. If I'm here to kind of sugarcoat everything, what's the point? It doesn't work. That's not me, and that's not you. So I love you. You're amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful. And so I want to address the 8-8 portals, these gateways that open up to our ascension path. There's so much communication of how hard it is. Can we sit in appreciation of how we are growing, that we are becoming stronger, that we are becoming more light, not that we're victims of being tired, but rather our capacity to be in our compassion and love and empathy for ourselves and others is actually a gift that we're receiving. And in that, how does that translate in your expression of love for your community or for the world or for yourself? You're becoming more empowered. If it's hitting your body in a hard way, and it's like, thank God I'm receiving in a way that I've never allowed myself to receive before.
Yeah. And
Naina, I was going to tell Naina, open up to receive, not just the energy of the portals. Yes, But there are others who, like you, don't know how to do, don't know how to approach it. And if you don't have to be the one with all the answers, which I think probably right now you feel like you do, I'm guessing, then what else is available in support? Just how you're wishing that they had support, someone that can help them. There's a part of you that says, God, I wish someone would come in and help me. And so your projection into their needs of what they're not getting is also a part of what you're not getting. Open to receive. And you'll find that they will become open to receive. As they become open to receive, the loop of that will come back into these institutions where you'll find there are programs, there are people, there are facilitations that are available as we all open. And you are in charge right now of showing them their gateway of how to expand that. But it begins with you, love. Open to receive. Don't be the one that has to have all the answers. Be prepared to have all the answers and let go and let God. You were going to say something, Zoe.
It'll come back.
All right, we'll get back to it.
Yeah, no, it's coming. Yeah, I do want to speak into this because we want to be really mindful whether we are running a martyr program. Okay. And that's a really sensitive one when it comes to our awakening, because we our hearts are open and we see the destruction and the disconnect and separation in the earth, and we want to do something. And we go through this really deep healing work to be lighter, to embody more levels of light and love light, and to be able to show up in particular roles on the earth, however we want to show up in our creative expression, whether that's being a doctor or a nurse or a school teacher or a taxi driver or a librarian or a coach or a healer, or however we want to, do that. But we want to be careful that we're not kind of running this like ego martyr program where, we're clearing this for Gaia, or we're clearing this for humanity, or we're suffering on our own over here because we're doing this for the greater good. And that's a martyr program that's a slight distortion of false light, right? And I won't get into that too much. There's a whole nother conversation. I just want to share that one piece. And so we want to be really mindful of our intention, right? What is our intention truly? Is it coming from an ego martyr program, or is it coming from true intent with our heart? Is it coming from intent because it just naturally feels like, thank you, the next evolution of our soul's growth, of how we want to show up and how we want to support? And I had this last year with when I had an accident on a moped, and I had many different people, thank you everyone, for all of the different versions of why I had this accident. And I'm just laughing, like, I don't need to work out the spiritual meaning of why I had this accident. I'm just healing my body right now. I'm very deeply connected to my body. But one person particularly shared that I was clearing the density of Gaia, which is why I had the accident. And so that's a martyr program that she was projecting onto me to make herself feel better of all the pain and trouble that she's gone through. And I called her out on it, and let's just say that person doesn't follow me anymore, and that's okay. So we just want to be really, really careful with the martyr programs, okay? Because once we can step outside of that, guess what? We are connected, we're co-creating, we're in community, and it's a choice. I choose to show up online and speak about this stuff. I choose to work with clients. I choose to create what I create. I choose to share content. I choose to go into the deepest depths of my shadow to come out the other end to support others, because I want to help and it feels good in my body. I'm not tired. I'm not exhausted. I'm not worn out. I actually get energy from what I'm doing. And that's when I know that I'm in alignment. So I just want to leave that with all of you, because I see this a lot as well. Right. So being careful of that martyr program.
All right, let's go to our next caller. Katie, let's get you to unmute. Welcome to the call.
Thank you.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Zoe. How are you?
Good.
Good. Good to see you.
Taking a picture.
I knew this is going to be a reunion. That's why I picked the call.
It's a treat. Yeah, it's beautiful to be here, and I feel so much more on path and aligned than ever before, and I am freaking exhausted at the same time. definitely been in the space of chasing my tail, and like energy just spread everywhere, it feels like. And I'm really getting focused on where to best put my energy, and yet like not feeling the stability fully in place. And, uncertain of how to best trim the fat. I feel like I've been really intentional about, what is a hell yes in my life, and really leaning into that more and more. And I don't know where I'm fully missing the mark on stepping out in this next space, to best support myself. And yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And I want to speak into this because I feel that there's nothing wrong when we're needing to rest. We're actually integrating and moving through such deep layers of consciousness that rest part of the experience is where some of our deepest kind of clearings can happen, because we're slowed down enough to be able to give ourselves that respite, to catch up with self. So you're not, what I sense for you, and I'm asking spirit for what's kind of 3 things I can share with you. 1, you're not going to be in this period for a long time. So don't be seeing like figuring out like what's wrong with me, because I think you've been asking that and it's not really, thank you, been allowing you to kind of like surrender into it. Get really good at resting, when you're not doing, be in rest, and that's okay. And I think that you will know what to create spaciousness around and what will be naturally aligned for you to give you energy. I'm also being shown to share with you to a body fast. Some kind of fast would be really supportive for your nervous system at this time, even just a day of either, thank you, coconut water or juicing, if you've done that before. I mean, I'm not a registered doctor, so I can't give nutritional guidance. I can give you what I see energetically, and then you can go and work with a respective practitioner. But some kind of fast, I feel, will give you a bit of insight with some of the pieces and questions that you've been having, that you've been asking, but not quite getting the clarity around. So almost if you could give yourself a sacred day where you do a fast, everything's off, and you're really going into your own energy field, with your journal and light a candle, set an intention of prayer. I feel that you're going to have a lot of information come through. You are course correcting right now as well. So that's why some of these things that you thought, your guides are like, don't worry that you've been working on it for a long time. It's okay. It's done. It's complete. So I think there's part of you that's like, oh, but I really thought this was going to be the thing. It is the thing because it's opened the door to something else. So they just want to share that with you as well, that there's something else coming in through this period. But I get for you a month to 2, like maybe like 4 to 5 weeks more, that you're in this period of transition. And then I think through this fast day, you're gonna get it. Something's gonna come through. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Breathe into it, Katie.
Yeah.
Just release and let go. And where the mind feels like you're not doing something right, just like whenever that comes in, I release and I let go, because you are, and your intentions are set. I'm curious, Zoe, and everybody on the call, and Katie, thank you for bringing this up, because in your efforts to get from one place to another, I'm curious, how connected into the collective are you? Do you feel a lot, or do you feel that perhaps you pick up on a lot?
Me or Katie?
No, Katie.
Oh, okay.
I do feel, I feel pretty energetically impacted quite often.
Right. So understand that your nervous system is running subconsciously this path. I don't know where the world is going, and you're taking it into your microcosm and going, I don't know where my life is going. It's like, just breathe. It's like the outside reality of the collective doesn't have to be my reality, because of the work that I've done and the intimacy I have with myself in creating my path and trusting my path. A lot of people haven't done the work that you have, or haven't had the opportunity, or the financial resources, or the bandwidth, or the abundance that you've had to get you to have the education that you do or the life experiences. And so because of your life experiences, you get to hold a different field of frequency that uplifts other.
Mm.
And the way to begin to do that is you can separate yourself from that. Trust your journey, breathe into it.
Yeah.
And separate yourself from the subconscious that says, I've got to be doing something. The world's got to do something. The world's got to fix. The world's got to shift. It's like, we don't know where it's going. We don't. But that's what was bringing into this call earlier. The slowing down with presence.
Yeah. Thank you, John. That helped like lean back and sit back a little bit. It's like,
well, I'm good. Now come back and listen to the replay of what Zoe was telling you.
Yeah.
Because you had a mini session and on this call with what she was sharing, not only logically, but also energetically for you and from your guides. And you'll be able to receive it now, not on behalf of the collective, or you think it's really for you, but really as you learning to receive for you.
Yeah.
Beautiful. It's so beautiful what's coming in through. Thank you. And
I feel like your energy has just shifted even in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you feel that, guys? Yeah. Right. I feel that it's like, oh, and this is what I was sharing before around this, like, who's playing the martyr program?
Yeah.
Right. It's very subconscious. Fix, save, heal humanity's problems, carrying the weight and burden of the world on our shoulders. We can't do it that way. We have to be in the expansion of solutions. Solutions. We can feel and we can have empathy. Thank you. But we get to be in our energetic sovereignty. Do you know what that means? Energetic sovereignty means that we're not bringing it on. We're not digesting it. We're not integrating it within ourselves and ourselves. So we get to be light, show up as light, be grounded, support others through light. We're not taking it on. We're not manifesting it within our system. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's so amazing. This is Katie. Thank you so much. And this is kind of out there, but I'm just going to share it, Zoe. And I want to play with you guys. And we're going to give the special offer here in a second. Private session with Zoe and other transmissions and downloads are available. But Zoe, it's so interesting. We talk, be like the divine, be at one with the divine. You are the divine. But as you experience that, does the divine not grant everybody else free will? And allows them to go through their experience. So if we are to become as a divine, we will miss the mark unless we allow others their free will as well.
Yeah.
What was that? I think that's one of the missing pieces on what's been talked about.
Yeah.
In becoming one as a divine frequency. Oh, we're one as a divine. Now I need to help and heal everybody else. Now you get to hold the frequency of who you are as a divine. Oh my God. So much.
And those that are ready, sorry, go for it, Kate.
I was just speaking to, and that's enough, it's like
everything. It's everything.
Yeah. The beam.
Everything. Yeah. Enough's a meta program, right? It's another one of those.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this. I love that you brought that up, Zoe. Katie, love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to get a special offer and we're going to take some more Q&A right afterwards. But everybody, click on the link that's in the chat box. April, drum roll. Dun, 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 dun. It's a long drum roll. It's coming. There it is. Y'all click in the chat box and see the blue link that's highlighted at the very bottom of the chat. Click on that or open up a new browser and type in beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Zoe28. And it'll take you to that same special offer page. And I'm going to share my screen also. I believe maybe I'll find it. Zoe, why don't you get started and I'll find where it is on my screen so I can share as you go along.
Okay. So I tuned in and I asked what is for the highest alignment for this experience. And I got guided to open up some sessions. And as most of you know, that I don't really open these up very often. But it felt, oops, excuse me. Am I back?
You're back. I threw off your mojo, huh?
No, I have I have a limit on my laptop that says it's nighttime at 9 o'clock. So it closes everything down. Yeah, so I wanted to open up private sessions, and the last time I ran these, I think were like last November. So you get a 30-minute session with me. If any of you have worked with me before, or if you're new to what I offer, so much comes through in this time. So really prepare yourself energetically before showing up. Make sure you show up on time so that you get the full reading. And they are multidimensional readings. So I read into your field through your energy body, your physical body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body. And I read into the quantum realm of what is the most aligned messages and connection that you need to receive in that moment. And so if you are wanting to come with a specific intention, then we can open up the floor with that. If you are coming just to see what is available for you, or if you're wanting to understand a deeper resonance of why is it that I can't move forward, or what is happening in my life that I can't quite let go of the past. So these are really bespoke to you, and they are very unique in what you need for your soul's evolution. And we record the sessions as well, which is always recommended so that you can have access to that afterwards. And they are really great at helping you feel that deeper connection to what you are doing here, but most importantly, just feeling more aligned and more in connection and more in community and more grounded. So they, as I said, like every session I've ran with every single person has always been so different. There are a unique array of tools that come through for your soul's evolution. So even if there are loved ones that have crossed over that might have messages come through for you, then, you know, we go in that direction. Or if there is a specific message from your future self that wants to come through to help you on your path. So that's why I called it multidimensional reading, because we're reading all aspects and all parts of you. So, but I will stress, like, please, please, please come prepared and give yourself time before and after the session so that you can make the most of our time together. And in alignment with that, the most up-to-date and current expressions of energetic alignment that I have are these quantum tools that I recorded very recently. They're 5 to 20 minute guided sessions to support you with making shifts in your day. So they're not like really long activations, but they kind of have the same potency as a 90-minute experience, but within 5 minutes. So we kind of like supercharge them with lots of love-like energy when they were recorded, and so you will receive the benefits of that. So definitely, you know, they're designed for you to tune in of whatever you need in your day. So if you're wanting a bit of support with abundance or clarity, or feeling into the future version of yourself, or really feeling who you are and making that connection to your heart and your body again, there's some really powerful techniques to help you kind of spin your energy field in the right direction, expanding your aura, and coming back into alignment with yourself as an energetic being, because most of the time we're not running enough energy through our body. So these are really great tools to use to get you back into alignment with your energy. So yes, this is what I'm offering. It felt the most aligned. I normally run kind of group stuff, but I was very guided this time that actually what was most resonant is to offer my time one-on-one with those that feel guided to. These do sell out pretty fast, I will say. So, you know, if you're guided to this, I would book in so that you can have your session quite soon. I do have a relatively open schedule for this, so I have opened up a bit of space, but obviously first come, first serve, and so that you can have it when you book in. So, yeah, I'm excited to work with those of you that are aligned.
I'm excited that you're offering private sessions for the people in the community and those who take advantage of it. Yeah, you'll be beautifully activated in so many ways. And again, this is a value of over $1,000 getting to work with Zoe in this way. And it's rare that she does open single private sessions.
Yeah.
So I hope you all take advantage of it. And again, the links in the chat box, and take advantage of it, or go to beyondtheordinaryshow.com // I can't roll my R's today, /Zoe28. And it'll take you to that same page. And remember, there's always a 2-payment option in our special offers here on BTO to make it easier for you to access these calls and the special offers. So again, take advantage of it. All right, Zoe, let's open up some more Q&A. Let's go. Y'all are amazing. It's so hard for me to choose sometimes because there's such alignments. It's crazy. But Beth, let's go with you right now. Welcome to the call. And Beth, let's get you to unmute, please. Yeah, you. There you are.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you well. Welcome.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. I have to say that I called this in just now, so this was really amazing. I love it. But my question is I feel like I'm blocking myself because I don't feel safe. I mean, I feel activated right now. I mean, my whole nervous system is just all over the place. And although I get messages and some guidance at times, like I've done tons of clearing on things like my clairvoyance, and that night I immediately had the worst nightmare of my life. And so everything shut down again, is what it feels like. And so I'm wondering how I can get beyond myself with this one. I mean, it's been a long time.
Okay, two things which are really interesting that are coming through for you. Do you have a tree near your house? Like, what's the closest tree that you have? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can you describe it to me?
There's little red berries on this tree. It's overhanging the back deck.
Okay, so it's quite close to your house?
Yeah.
Okay. The tree really wants to help you integrate your nervous system with all of the light that's been coming in. And I'm also getting for you just, have you ever had any spinal issues or stuff going on with your neck, or any accidents in your neck and spine?
A lot of concussions. I used to play ice hockey, so a lot of whiplashy type.
Okay. Yeah. And have you ever had any adjustments or any kind of Indian head massage where your head's been lifted up or away from your spine?
Yes.
When was the last time you had that? I
haven't had that in a couple of years, that
okay.
type of alignment. Yeah.
Okay. So she needs, yeah. Okay. So I'm getting for you to, when you can, book in for an Indian head massage and really have them like pulling, like when you're kind of, either if they can do this lying down or kind of like literally like lifting your head up away from your spine. There's a little congestion of energy like right around here, which is also with your throat, right? Speaking your truth around all the messages that you're getting, you don't really share. You kind of like keep it in and then it kind of bottles up a bit. So I'm getting an Indian head massage will help to just kind of release a bit of that energy for you. And then with the tree, just sitting and like resting your head on the tree and your palms of your hands on the earth, and ask for a nervous system reset from the tree. And the tree will help you to integrate and ground a little bit. So as you were sharing, those two things came through really strongly. The next piece is, as you're opening up to deeper levels of light, you're also going to open up to deeper levels of shadow. So don't be scared of the shadow and don't be scared of the light, okay? You've got to be in the awareness of both in order to integrate that into this physical reality, right? Third dimensional expression is duality. And so sometimes when we're opening up, we also open up to deeper levels of shadow, but then we get scared because we think, oh no, I'm doing something wrong. You're not. You're perfectly balanced, but the imbalance is feeling that it was scary, okay? It's all light. It's all love. It's all an expression. It's all an experience, okay? So when we start to see it like that, shadow starts to kind of doesn't have as much quote unquote power, or we don't really see it as these dark entities or this separation. We actually, thank you, start to have more of an integration. Okay, so that's kind of what's happening with you, is you're expanding to deeper levels of awareness of self as soul at a cellular, atomic and subatomic level, as light and as shadow. So love your shadow, love your light. Okay. And the Indian head massage, I think, will really, I'm sure John has something to expand on this as well, but that's kind of mostly what was coming through for you.
Well, that's fascinating, because I was just reading about the Atlas, the major Alta chakra, which is
Atlas.
Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that is where I've been getting headaches for years. So that's really good.
Get an Atlas adjustment. It's a specialty. You'll have an Atlas pop. and it'll align your spine, which is wonderful. Beth, it's extremely rare to say this on a call. An energy clearing session to clear any dense energies out of you would be really beneficial. And again, I've maybe said that twice in 10 years. It's not that you're carrying like this heavy thing that you are, but I do feel that there's something that's attached to you that you can release very quickly by someone just showing you the light that you are. That's it. And holding that space for you. So don't be afraid of it. Zoe and I experienced entities in Peru, right? I mean, it's a real thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a real thing. And so we can talk about this, but through our shared experience and the experience of other people in there, it's holding your sovereignty and being aware and holding your love. You don't have to fight for your love. You just are. You just are. But there's something in your field, whether it's in your home, in your body, that's really looking for a cleanse of whatever is parasitic right now in your energetic field. And again,
Wow, that is so interesting.
it's extremely rare for me to say that on these calls, but I feel that's strongly that I had to say.
Wonderful, thank you. Can you tell me if that's recent? Because I'm always doing, clearings like that, lower selves, lower entities, clear and transmute across all time, dimension, space, and reality.
I don't get caught up in the times because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
That's just this trying to figure it out and getting lost in it. It's like, oh, okay, here it is. Then let's go take a shower. Right. Really. And
Okay.
Zoe's quite amazing, and that, or reach out to someone who's aligned with you. But that can really hold the field. Really trust that they hold the field. And I heard that you can do Reiki, and maybe it's like, no, you want someone who has the purity of the consciousness that you're searching for and to align with. Zoe, can you share any more about that? And we'll go on to the next caller.
Yeah, that's kind of, the aspect of starting with like that Indian head massage, just to start kind of getting that your divine energy flowing a bit more fluidly. And then with that, it's if you really just see it as density, right? So you're shifting density to higher states of consciousness. And as you shift that density, whatever is connected or attached or any kind of version of reality that we want to look at, it doesn't resonate in that higher frequency. So that's all we're doing, right? And so we don't need to get into too much to like the story of it or the timeline or anything. You're just in alignment to shift density. That's it, right? Density is shadow, density is separation from source. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll give you just some words to say before bed. Is that I open to receive everything that's of the highest and purest light. That's it.
Okay.
I now receive all that I need, and I can let go of everything else. And someone shared that with me in a session yesterday. But it really is as simple as that. It really is as simple as that. So use the power of your words to invoke what it is that you're choosing to create. Because if not, something else will create it for you if you choose not to. Step into your mastery. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Blessings to you. All right, Mila, let's go to you. Welcome to the call. And Mila, as you unmute, let me just read something. Tara wrote in. Tara writes, I just want to say a huge thank you to Zoe for her 21-day activation in the spring. It brought me back from a really rough patch. So blessings from Tara to you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And
we'll sorry,
go ahead, Zoe.
No, go for it.
I was welcoming Mila to the call.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. Actually, my name is Mila, but a small correction. Thank you.
Mila, welcome.
So practically, yes, I was very hesitant to ask the question, but somebody pushed me. The question is like, I've been married for 33 years. And it was a story before that marriage, and it was tragically ended. And I married my current husband because, frankly speaking, he was the best out of the worst. And I was kind of after my recovery during 9 years after loss of my first kind of boyfriend. So, and I was probably overprotective. And since I am very sensitive, I kind of sense from the very beginning that something is wrong with him. He doesn't in my perception, he did not know what is it love actually. How does it feel? And I thought like my best intention, it was easy, like live your life, everything is simple. And I thought my example, my presence kind of would help him. And like over the years, like we went through different stuff and kind of, I learned a lot. But to make long story short, at this moment, kind of, I was working very hard on myself. And since 2012, kind of, it was my really rapid awakening. And I learned some modalities, and because I was curious what was going on.
Mila, I'm sorry, for the sake of time, I'm curious what your question is.
My question is like, what do you see kind of, is there any opportunities for our marriage? Because I heard for someone that it's like, and I felt that this karmic marriage. And if he does not take care of himself, I don't have to stay with him any longer. And my perception, to some extent, it's kind of holding me back. Is it true?
Okay, so give me a moment. I'm going to give you two versions of what I'm seeing. Version one is, as the feminine, you get to open up the invitation for growth with your partner in the new direction and see what he's open and available for when it comes to growth in a relationship. I mean, for any relationship to thrive, there has to be transformation and growth and continued connection and clear communication. So if you feel you still have elements of that, or that you're able to perhaps sit down and have a conscious conversation with your partner and share with him your vulnerability in your heart. This is where I'm at right now. This is how I feel. I love you. This is my desire. What do you think of that? What are you open for? I'm curious as to your experiences right now in this partnership, and how are you feeling? And is there anything that you would like to share that we can open up the space for? So I feel perhaps starting there, because I feel that you're trying to kind of do all the energetic guesswork without actually really connecting to your partner. Because I don't feel in your heart of hearts that it's almost kind of there's a part that's kind of almost like wanting to just discard this person that's been in your life. And I feel actually, when I feel into your heart of hearts, you actually crave connection. You're craving a deeper connection to yourself and a deeper connection of potential. Not saying that you are to stay together, but a deeper connection of potential with your partner. So I'd say the first start for you is to have a very open and conscious conversation with your partner and share with him your vulnerabilities, because that's the feminine. Is to show up in your vulnerability with your partner and share with him where you're at, because it allows him to be invited into his vulnerabilities and his emotional well-being. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it does. At some point, kind of, I consulted someone and I was told like, he will not understand. Sort of like, and I tried it, and depends like on his mood, his state, because sometimes he's uncontrollable fits of anger. It's like, it's hard to witness, you know, when you can.
Okay, so I'm also going to invite you into a different space that you've taken on a lot of projection and opinion from other people. And I want to ask you, if you had an opportunity to have a conscious conversation with your partner right now, how does that make you feel?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so as the feminine, regardless of what some psychic or mystic has told you around your path, right? Come back to love. You want to come back to love? This is love. Connect and open up the space with your partner and allow him that opportunity. And it might take a little time, but at least you've opened it up to see what's available for you both. As the feminine, we are opening up and we get to invite the masculine into that space, right? And so I feel if you came at it through that perspective, you will start to get a lot more clarity on your path, not what someone has told you about your 33-year marriage. I want you to feel it for yourself in your heart and your body. So when I asked you that question, how does it feel to open up that space? That felt good for you. So let's start there. Okay.
Yeah, I understand, because actually that's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes.
the time.
Mm-hmm. And it feels, doesn't that feel more loving and nourishing and honoring of the incredible experience you've had with this being in your life, as opposed to having to label it as oh, well, that was a karmic relationship and I'm awake now?
No,
Doesn't it
it's
feel more
like,
loving?
there's no judgment. It's like, really, I feel like I know him for so many years, whatever, and for some reason I cannot leave him, like, because my attempt to strive, everyone can be happy, everyone can learn what's true in the life. It's easy, it's like joyful, that kind of stuff, that's why I'm sticking to him.
Yeah. So I feel the true transformation, that there is an invitation here, and I'd love to dive in deeper with you if you do sign up for a session, but just to kind of give you the little piece to take away is, let's have the honor of the love, whether you stay together or not. And that comes from you getting crystal clear of opening up the space for a conscious conversation. And it starts with that, so that you can start to have more conversations. And I feel that it will be very healing for both of you, right? If you have no fear around being together or not, and you're choosing the highest available timeline, which is unconditional love, then you get to come into a full resonance and completion of that. And these karmic kind of intertwining patterns that we talk about do start to get to dissipate and be untangled within a person, if we can come to the resolution of love, if we come to resolution of love in more togetherness or in separation. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're more
Mila,
than
blessings
welcome.
to you. Thank you for calling in. Okay, let's go. Let's take another caller before we finish with today's call. How about we go to Bridget, and the rest of y'all on the call? It's like I want to get to on another call. We'll have Zoe back. And Bridget, welcome. And Bridget, let's get you to unmute, please.
Here we go.
There you
Hello,
are.
Zoe.
Hi, beautiful.
Hi, I worked with Zoe for 6 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. I can really recommend it. I had just had a huge entity release, and I wonder how to integrate and continue my life. It is really wonderful to release all these dark entities. Actually, it was, and now I wonder, wow, how is life going on from here?
Okay, I'm going to change the wording a little bit, because this is what's coming through from spirit, and then I'll show you what I'm seeing for some integration pieces for you. It's so wonderful to integrate and love the parts of myself that I ignored. It's so wonderful and blessed to feel the love for the shadow. It's so wonderful to feel so embodied in what that taught me and how it showed up in my life, so that I could come to more love and more connection and more joy and more pleasure. So I just want to give you a slight different definition of the wording, so that then you're still not in the disconnection to it. Because remember, it's all connection, connection, connection. Where are you in the world right now? What's your location?
I'm in Norway.
In Norway. Do you have any body of water, any lakes or waterfalls close to you?
Yeah, I have the sea.
Okay, so I'm getting for you to, I was getting a lot of, okay, that makes sense. I was feeling more salt water, but I thought, yeah, I guess, yeah, Norway does have I'm getting bad with my geography now. Okay, let me relocate you. Okay, got you. The ocean or any type of water cleansing is going to be really good for your body. And as you're kind of receiving that cleansing and purification, just imagine that you're also receiving all of the different codes of light. So if you can do this one on a sunny day, that would be even better, because then you're receiving the photonic light rays of the light. And sit in the spaciousness right now. Right? Sit in the spaciousness and bask in the joy and bliss that you're feeling, and appreciate yourself in that moment. And so this cleansing is going to help with the body, and also with some of the energy that's coming through. And don't shut the energy down. When you start to feel the little vibrations coming up from your root, breathe it up and feel it. Don't be freaking out going, what's happening? Like, embrace it, own it, and embody it, because that is what is kind of available for you. And as you get used to kind of moving that energy through your body, you're starting to move with different frequencies of light. So this is kind of some things to do in the spaciousness for you right now.
Beautiful. Bridget,
Okay.
thank you so much for calling in. Yeah, and I love your suggestion also, Zoe, being out in the light. Again, with these portals open up, these Lions Gates and the transmissions of the sun and the photonic light that's available to us, which you talked about at the beginning of the call with the example of the fruits and what we're ingesting, to be in direct relationship with that light during these portals. It's very strong and activates and enlivens the remembrances that are coming in also. So as we have different relationship with the past, of the things that we felt were keeping us in that void state, perhaps we're not propelled in a way that we felt was possible. These energies help to align, to activate, and to integrate what you're awakening within the cells of your body as well. So it's great suggestion. Just want to give a little more perspective into how powerful it can be, especially during this time with these gateways and these portals open. Bridget, blessings to you. Thank you. Mark, I want you to unmute before we get into your question. I'll remind everybody the special offer of Zoe, the private session, and then the bonus components also that are included there that you can use as they come up for you. Again, the Quantum Tools Library, which offer 12 powerful quantum tools designed to activate, align, and ground what's most needed in the moment, is available, including the 30-minute session, the private session. And both these items are valued at over $1,000, and Zoe's bringing it on here for $197 with the 2 payment options. So I hope you all take advantage of it. The link's in the chat box, or again, you can get to it by going to beyondtheordinaryshow.com/Zoe28. And let's see here, Mark, if you have unmuted, welcome. And what is your question for Zoe?
Hi, John. Hi, hi, Zoe. Nice to see
Mark.
you guys.
You too.
I guess my question is as I really focus on myself and focus on what I need and focus on the right alignments and energies with everyone, I've found over the years of doing this that and it's been amplified, I think, in the last couple of years, is that I used to have so much like love for like everyone all the time, and really as of late, I really feel stuck where I really don't have the patience or the something in me for, like, I hate to say it, but like such a large majority of people who I look at and I just see where they're at, and they're so caught up in unreality or their own stories or on this, and I have a hard time even being around it because I'm very sensitive as well, and have to limit that. But how do I kind of claim some of that love for everyone that I seemingly used to have just flowing out of me, and recently has been kind of lost in some ways, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So you'll open your heart again beyond the expectations of how you wish people could change in their lives, because I think before you had what I'm being shown is so much love for everyone, but then secretly hoping that they would start to be on this awakening journey, that they would start to make those conscious choices in their lives. And there came a point where you realize that, oh no, everyone's just playing out the same patterns and the same programs, and you've massively shifted in your awareness of reality. And so there's a much bigger gap, right, than there was before. So you will bounce back around and hold a greater capacity of love, but you will hold it through energetic sovereignty, where you're no longer taking on the emotional energetics of other beings. And so thank you. What I'm being shown is coming down to really strong energetic hygiene practices, with really connecting to you, connecting to yourself as source, grounding, expanding your energy field, and just really not worrying about where people are and meeting them where they're at with an open heart without trying to fix, save, or solve their problems, you know, and to really be in the presence of others without needing to get too entwined in the energetics. Because I think what happened when I'm being shown is perhaps you reached a burnout with it, right? And so then it kind of, you went in the almost the opposite direction of like, I can't even be around anyone right now. And give me a show of hands, everyone that's been through this, where we can handle it. And then we're like, okay, I need to not speak to anybody. Please, nobody talk to me, nobody phone me, don't even stand next to me at the bus stop. Please go away, everybody, right? So we go through various stages of how we can be in interaction, interrelating with those around us. And you will bounce back into awareness of love. And I think just trusting that this aloneness and alone time that you need is okay. It doesn't have to be a specific meaning or reason because of where somebody else is at in their reality. Thank you. It's more you consciously choosing that you need more time on your own right now. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll go through that. And then, oh my gosh, like I just want to be around everyone and just share my great big beautiful heart and light without needing to say or do anything. Okay, so we just go through stages like that. So I hope that kind of provides a bit of clarity of where you're at right now.
Sure. Yeah, it does. Sure. Yeah.
John, do you have anything? Yeah, it is a weird place to be because it feels slightly disconnected to humanity. And sometimes we have to go through that, disconnect to humanity to reconnect to self, to reconnect to humanity through unconditional love. It's kind of part of the process. Right. And so John, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, and it's that part of unconditional love. If we can be that much love for others and can feel it, the greatest act of love that we can do for ourselves is to be in a place where we're honoring what's true for us at the moment without judgment. Am I doing something wrong? Am I judging other people? Am I condemning them? Why am I separate? Why am I not giving them love? And so you're just being shown a deeper layer of love that's within you that has to begin with you first. And when you can learn to not judge that part of yourself, your capacity for not judging others is a greater capacity of being able to love them in a way that's new to you also. And so the beautiful part of it is that you get to experience even more love and more love. And you're going through the alchemy of all that. And we're releasing the judgment of how it has to be and how it has to show up, how it's supposed to be reciprocated. And it's like into the beingness of you and the permission of allowing God to flow through you in its divine expression in the moment, rather than having it to be something that it's not because you think it's the way it's supposed to be. So Zoe was sharing from the very beginning of the call, that presence, that triple slow motion, that everything is in divine perfection right where your breath is. It's amazing. It looks like Mark dropped off the call. I think he was
we missed him.
The energy couldn't in it. But it's powerful. It's powerful what's coming through. So it's amazing, Zoe. I love what you're holding right now. I love the peace that's running through you. And the power of your love and sharing it with others and inviting everybody into what's possible from that. And so, Zoe, this has been a phenomenal call. Thank you for the generosity and the special offer and the private sessions that you're offering on the show. That's huge for you, I know, especially at this price point. Yeah, thank you for doing what you're doing. And thank you for being in Glastonbury and holding that space out there as well. And all these places you've been throughout Europe that are benefiting from the light. So it's been wonderful seeing you. It's been a while.
Yeah, you too.
So
yeah, it's been beautiful.
Connect.
Yeah, thank you, John. And it's been so wonderful to share this with everybody and bringing us back into alignment. Just so many faces of the community that I love the Beyond the Ordinary show and the community. It's always such a pleasure to drop in and see old friends and new friends and chat and connect and just keeping it in alignment, keeping it real with where we're going together as a collective. So yeah, so much blessings.
Wonderful blessings. Namaste, everybody. I will see y'all on the next call.